Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new PennyWise podcast from Lee Enterprises. I'm your host, Terry Barr, and if you've been watching the housing movement these days, lots of homes for sale, lots of homes being purchased, but there's an important thing we're going to talk to our guest about today that is included in homes. Yeah, we're talking about moving. How about that? Our guest today is Lexi Pelchin, and Lexi is the home finance expert. She's also the assistant assigning editor with Forbes Advisor. Lexi, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, Terry, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, we're glad to have you, especially to talk about moving. I know, take a deep breath when you think about it. It doesn't have to be stressful. And Lexi has put together this incredible step-by-step process to think about as you prepare to move. And Lexi, I think we're seeing a lot of this happening right now, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially with the pandemic, a lot of people have moved from where they were to where they would like to be. And so I know moving is top of mind for a lot of people. So I'm really happy to be here to kind of talk to you and your audience today about how to make moving a little less stressful and a lot more affordable.
Oh my gosh. I know what I think about moving and go, but this is going to help all of us. And I know right now I looked outside and down our street, we've got about 3 homes for sale within 2 blocks of our house right now. And I have to think some of this has to do with the timing for school too. So let's help these people out as they're getting ready to move. You've got kind of a 10-step list. Top of the list is, how about getting some estimates? If you can estimate the cost, what does that mean?
So the best way to save money on your move is to know what approximately your move should cost. So if you're going to hire movers, it's very important to get at least 3 to 5 estimates and bids from different moving companies. So that way you can kind of gauge the different prices. And if you can estimate the cost using a moving calculator, you can make sure that you're not hiring a company whose bid is way too high or way too low. You want someone that's somewhere in the middle. And we actually just launched our own moving calculator on the Forbes Advisor home website. So you can go ahead and use that. And it's just a great way to kind of put you at that median to say, okay, this is approximately what my move should cost based on the distance that I'm traveling, the amount of rooms my current home is. And it gives you a really good jumping off point for before you go and get those estimates from the contractors and moving companies.
That can be the biggest stress sometimes, just starting the process. So hopefully this means no surprises as you get some estimates, right?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, there we go. So that's number 1. That's the most important step to get it all started. Then you say, and I like this one a lot, avoid buying supplies, the supplies you need to move. Tell us more.
Yeah, so moving supplies can be expensive. There's a lot that goes into it, from boxes to bubble wrap, and all of those things can kind of be supplemented in other ways that are a little easier on the wallet or free altogether. So if you know ahead of time you're going to be moving, you can take some time and actually source boxes for free. A lot of grocery stores, big box stores, liquor stores are all great places to kind of go around and ask for boxes. I do recommend kind of calling ahead, just saying, hey, what days are your deliveries? Is it okay if I come pick up boxes? Most of the time they'll say, yeah, great. It's one less thing we have to dispose of. And
True.
boxes that come from places like that are reliable and sturdy, right?
Yes.
So they're used to holding heavy, bulky items. So you can always source your boxes from places like that. And then instead of buying, bubble wrap, just use what you have. Use your sheets, use your blankets, use your socks, wrap your mugs in your socks. You have to pack them anyway. So just instead of paying for something, just avoid buying supplies where you can, and outsource it. I also recommend, I know I'm personally about to do this. A good friend of mine just moved and I said, hey, do you mind kind of just breaking down your boxes and holding them until I am ready to move?
Yeah.
And, that's a good way to kind of recycle as well and get a couple of lives out of your boxes. They probably won't last more than 3 moves just because they break down,
Yeah.
things happen. But you can get 2 to 3 moves out of one box. That's the way to do it.
Well, we laughed. The last time we moved, we did one of those calls that you're talking about to a grocery store, ended up with a bunch of banana boxes. And you would never think banana boxes, but they have handles and they're
Yeah,
not huge. They're long,
right.
but very easy to carry.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So you've got something going with this one. I like that a lot. Here's one we always talk about. We just don't do it. Tell me why you should have a yard sale.
Right. So I think the biggest positive that comes with hosting a sale, obviously, making money, great benefit, but also it's really good to get rid of things that you're not going to use before you move, right?
Right.
There's no point in moving the items you don't want, the clothes you haven't worn in years that you're probably never going to wear, the shoes that don't fit you anymore. It's all just going to take up space that you don't need during your move and just cause clutter in the new place that you're going to. So
Right.
if you can host a sale beforehand, not only are you going to omit that clutter, omit taking all of those things you don't need, but you can definitely make some money back too. And sometimes, a yard sale can be kind of a whole process, but online now there are so many ways to just take a photo of what you have posted online and kind of just do it that way, and it's super easy.
Oh my gosh, brilliant idea. And we're talking about money and trying to save money. So, what a great way to not have to move all that extra stuff and then put some money in your pocket in the meantime. Thank you.
Yeah,
I need to do
definitely.
that the next time.
I know. I do too. I need to take my own advice.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. This one, I'm so fascinated. This is like your number 4 in the 10 steps to help you have a stress-free or at least a stress-less move. The US Postal Service has this thing called media mail. I've never heard
Correct.
about this. I'm fascinated. Tell us more.
Yes, so beyond being one of my favorite moving hacks,
Yeah.
media mail is one of my favorite life hacks. So, not a lot of people know about it, but yeah, the United States Postal Service offers a shipping service called Media Mail. And basically, it's just discounted rates specifically for shipping media. So, Media Mail includes shipping of books, DVDs, CDs, records. Any of that media can be shipped at a very low rate. So using media mail, you can ship, up to 70 pounds of books for just $40.
Oh my
And
gosh.
and if you're somebody with an extensive personal library, you know just how much 70 pounds of books is. And for
Oh,
$40, not a lot at all.
that
So
is incredible.
right? And it's one less thing you have to move to. Books are heavy, books are bulky. If you can just ship them to the next destination, that is the way to do it. And media mail makes it way, way more affordable. I should note though, you cannot include any personal items
Huh.
when sending media mail. So
Okay.
it can only be the media. You can't, throw t-shirts in there. Don't try to sneak in some coffee mugs, or they will charge you for normal shipping. But if you're exclusively shipping just media, definitely utilize media mail as your option.
Okay. Since we're talking media, does that also mean, say, albums or CDs, things like that,
Yes,
that can add
CD,
to the weight? Yeah.
yes, definitely. All of that stuff adds to the weight, and all of that stuff can be kind of fragile. So,
Mm,
and very personal as well. I know I really value my records, my books, all of those things.
yeah.
So you want to ensure they're getting there safely. So yeah, any sort of media you have, just check on the USPS website, but it should be covered by media mail.
Media mail. Don't forget that. Wow. We go on to the next tip from you. Have a plan B.
Right.
This one scares me.
I know.
What do you mean by plan B?
So, you know what they say, hope for the best, but plan for the worst. And
Yes.
that is definitely true when it comes to moving. You never know what's going to happen on your end. You never know what's going to come up on your mover's end. Hopefully, it all goes smoothly. But if not, you want to make sure you have a place to stay. So you're not shelling out last minute cash to stay, for in a hotel for 3, 4 nights or something like that. So if you make plans ahead of time with, say a neighbor, a close friend, or a relative nearby to say, just in case my move doesn't go as planned, can I please stay with you these dates? It'll save you so much money, and it'll
Yeah.
give you peace of mind just knowing if something happens to go wrong, you're covered and you have a place to stay.
Yeah, and that last minute panic, oh, it's just not worth it. So plan B it is.
Right.
Thank you. And how about this next one? The lowest bid. You mentioned this kind of at the top when we were talking about estimates, but the lowest bid may not be the best bid. What should we be thinking about when we're looking at these estimates?
Right. So if you're trying to save money, it may be your initial reaction to say,
Right.
I'm just going with the lowest bidding movers. Like, that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to save money that way. But I definitely urge you to think twice before doing that, because I'm not going to say always, but sometimes low price does indicate low quality.
Ooh.
So if you're going with the lowest bidding movers, while you might pay less upfront for the actual move, you may end up, paying more later, trying to replace all your valuable items that may have been lost or stolen, or broken during the
Yeah.
moving process, because you chose, maybe a mover that was not so highly rated just because their price was lower. So when you're doing, back to step one, when you're doing that initial cost estimation and
Right.
cost calculation,
Yeah.
really try to go for somebody who's around that median. It's always better, and always check reviews. But usually, somebody in the middle will get all your items there safely, and you won't end up paying more to replace them down the line.
Yeah. Oh, and what heartbreak to find out some really important things had been broken in the move. So, yeah,
Definitely.
thank you. That is a terrific tip because when you're trying to save money, it is easy to do that. Oh, I'll just take the lowest. So,
Right.
thanks for
It's
making us think
tempting.
about it. It is. It is. Oh my gosh. We were talking a little bit about packing too. You mentioned packing strategically as one of your tips. What do you mean? Why strategically?
Right. So when you're moving, you're usually going to be, renting a moving van and getting boxes. And the bigger the van, the more boxes you need, the more space your items are taking up. That all adds up money on your moving bill,
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
So if you can pack strategically, utilizing less space, less boxes, you're going to spend less money. So I recommend doing things like, nesting your bowls inside of each other and filling your cups with socks, or anything you can do to kind of fill those tiny gaps of space that you might
Mhm.
not have thought of. That will all save you space and therefore save you money. So it's really important to think about how you're packing your boxes. It's tempting to kind of just toss everything in there, tape it up, and throw it on the van.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that if you kind of take your time and really think, okay, what's going to fit best in this box? How can I
Mhm.
utilize my space the best? Packing strategically will definitely help save you money.
Oh, that's a good one. Thank you so much.
Of
Um,
course.
you also have on the list of tips here, cancel your utilities.
Right.
Tell me more.
So if you're doing a local move, right?
Yeah.
Just a city over, a few blocks over, you may just think, oh, I'm just gonna like transfer my utility
Right,
service.
right.
So I recommend, before you do that, search around a bit, see what other companies are offering as far as pricing, discounts. You never know what kind of rates other utility services can offer you. So sometimes it's beneficial to just shut off your service completely and start a new one from scratch. A lot of
Ah.
places will offer, you know, um, waive your activation fees, do free installation fees for new and first time customers. So it can really save you money and be beneficial to just cancel your utilities and start fresh
Mhm.
altogether.
Okay, that's something you just don't think too much about sometimes. So, thanks
Right.
for having that on the list.
Of
That's a good
course.
one. Yeah. Now this is probably one of my favorites, and it can be difficult to do this. Ask for a deal. How do you do
Right.
this?
So my motto is it never hurts to ask, right?
Yeah.
Especially in situations like this. the worst that somebody can say is, this is our best price.
Right.
But I really urge you to kind of take the time, search around, and ask, okay, what kind of deal can you offer me? This company is offering me this. Can you match it or beat it? A lot of moving companies want your service. They want you to choose their business, and they're willing to make accommodations in order to make that happen. So
Mm.
there's really no harm in just asking around, what is the best deal you have right now? And especially, asking for things like, hey, if my moving date is flexible, can we do some sort of discount? If I'm willing to move during the week, can we do some sort of discount? It's always just best to ask, because you'd be surprised what kind of deals you can get.
Why not? I love that. Finally, this is number 10 on the list of 10. Move yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So definitely stressful. And if you're
Yes.
doing, a cross country move or a very long distance move, it may be more difficult to do this, but I urge you to just consider the cost, right? So consider the cost of renting a van and driving yourself across the country, or, renting a shipping container and packing your belongings yourself. If you're really trying to get the best deal,
Yeah.
moving yourself is going to save you the most money. If you
Okay.
have the time, if you've got the manpower, you've got some good friends that'll help you pack up and load everything up, it's really worth just considering the cost and just weighing the options. If you're like, okay, a moving van will cost me this much, gas will cost me this much,
Mhm.
a hotel overnight will cost me this much. Maybe it levels out, depending on how far you're moving. But
Yeah.
like I said, just consider the cost and weigh them and see how much you can save.
Right. And you can feed your friends that help you, give them a little
Yeah,
pizza and beer, and you're all good, I think.
definitely, definitely.
Okay. So if you end up, you don't want to move yourself. I know Forbes Advisor has taken a look at some moving companies. Where can we find more information about that, as far
Yeah,
as
so
knowing who are some of the better ones to count on?
of course. So we've done our research on our end, and we've compiled some lists of the best moving services. So you can just go to Forbes Home, Forbes Advisor Home, and there's different lists on there depending on the just best overall moving companies, best
Great.
long distance moving companies. We've got it all there, and we've kind of done the legwork to make it easier for you to make your move just a little smoother.
Along with that calculator, the moving calculator, try that too. And at least that'll get you started and feel maybe a little calmer.
Yeah,
What's
if
the
you don't,
bottom line, Lexi? What's the most important thing to remember?
the bottom line is just plan ahead as early as you can.
All right.
So, as soon as you know you need to move, start making those accommodations, right? Because the earlier in advance you can plan, the more time you can take to really save your money. You can take the time to collect those boxes. You can take the time to slowly pack and pack the right way and diligently. You can recruit the friends to come help you pack the things. So it's just acting fast and acting early. We don't always have the luxury of time when it comes to a move, but
Mhm.
if you do, I definitely recommend you use it.
Okay. Wow. Anything that we skipped here? These tips are incredible. I think
Yeah,
for anybody moving, no matter how far, how near, even if you're a college kid moving in, these are just great things to remember.
I think this will cover it. If you're, getting ready to move, just kind of go through these 10 steps and you'll definitely end up saving yourself some money and hopefully some stress as well.
Yeah, no kidding. Lexi, terrific. Thank you so much for your great ideas. And yeah, hopefully this will help anybody with
Yeah,
their
I hope
next move.
so. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Terry, for having me.
Oh
It's such a
my
pleasure.
gosh. This again, Lexi Palchin. Lexi is the home finance expert, and she's also the assistant assigning editor with Forbes Advisor. And Lexi, what a pleasure. Good luck with your next move, too.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all for listening to this edition of our PennyWise podcast. A new episode every single Thursday. Bye, Lexi.
Bye, thank you.